Gonna be giving you guys the best characters to use as beginners. These are basically characters that are easy to pilot, very simple to play, but have really good kits. We're not gonna be picking characters that have a high difficulty ceiling only because those require a lot of practice, but they definitely can be very strong characters. We're gonna keep it very simple. Let's just jump into it. Poster boy Miria, we're putting him into solid B tier. He's a good character, a good all-rounder. He doesn't do anything too special, really solid. The only thing that makes him slightly B tier and not really A tier is his character skill. His character skill allows you to pick up someone who's down and run away with them, but there are other characters that does what he does, but better. Bakugo is an easy S tier. He does damage, he's got good mobility, he's got strong melee damage, he's just all-rounder, really good. He's basically a much stronger version of Bakugo. That's literally what he is. So we're putting him into S tier. Kurashime, he is also B tier. He's a character that plays melee, centric focused. He has a skill that can make him have super armor, but outside of that, no range autos, just wants to get into people's face. Ida is C tier. Ida is a really fast character. He can run up walls with his character trait, but the only issue is his attacks are all melee. Confirming your melee hits is a little bit harder because number one, you're squishy, and number two, the tracking system in the game is a little bit off, but if you, with enough practice, you can get your combo chains down well. It just takes a bit of practice. Ochaka, we're putting him into B tier. She's a solid all-rounder for a character. The only thing that makes her B tier is, number one, she does have a good spin to win skill. However, she's got two skills that are a little bit finicky. Three skills that are finicky. One, her grappling hook is a little bit finicky with how the coding is, so it's hard to gauge the distance of when you want to grapple. Two, her float skill, kind of hard to hit, very impractical, and her character skill float allows you to be able to levitate and make yourself more, bouncier, but outside of that, she's just a little bit weak. Momo is actually a solid A tier. She does her job well. She's able to throw down a shield and ram people with the shield, making her invulnerable from basically any damage coming from the front. She also has really solid alpha abilities, where she swings her spatula and clubs. The range is actually pretty wide. Distance isn't long, so she doesn't have a lot of long distance range, but it's got like a wide hitbox, so she's able to hit people relatively easily. Does a lot of damage when she hits people with the shield. Overall, just a solid character that knows what she's want to do. Our boy Gamamara, he is a C tier character. His range is really short. He's a ranged striker, so he can do a lot of damage. He has a nice AoE electric ability that can hit people in the vicinity near him, and he can stun lock people a little bit with his electric ability, but his range is very short and he's kind of squishy. Putting him into C tier, he's fun with the gimmick of being able to set up like an electric fence with his abilities, but outside of that, he's really tough to pilot properly. Asui is she's like A tier, S tier. We'll put her into S tier. She has a really high skill ceiling kit, but overall the ease of use is very simple. Number one, she can camouflage, so she can play like a rat. Her alpha ability allows her to be able to grapple onto anything, so she can grapple the ground and pull herself in with like a slingshot ability. She can slingshot herself into a building, and she can do that skill 3 times, which is very good. Her second skill, where she slaps her tongue out, very good AoE hit in front of her 180 degree or vertical or horizontal. So overall, you can play her camouflage, walk up to people and kill them if they're dumb, or you can play rat and literally jump up, hit people from the sky and start flinging yourself over and over. It doesn't do a lot of burst damage, but very consistent damage. Very annoying. Not only that though, she's got an auto revive to bring down characters up right away, so very strong. Very strong kit. Then we have good old Karate Girl here. She is... we're putting her into kind of CD tier. I would say she's C tier. She's able to put up a fence or like a wall in front of her to be able to shield allies from being hit. So she's kind of like a Reinhardt. It does take a little bit of positioning. Her claps are really strong. You get into melee form, you clap them, you do big damage, but her range damage is a little bit weaker. Last but not least, her character skill is able to grab an ally and throw them, which is okay, gimmicky, but takes a lot of coordination to make it work properly. But overall, she does have her uses, but just a little bit hard to pilot. Ibara, she is B tier. The reason why she's B tier is because she's an all-rounder, but the way to play her kit is a little bit, how would I say, it takes a bit of practice. Her Vine causes a hard knockdown, or doesn't cause a hard knockdown, but it causes enemies to have iframe. It has really good range though, so you can hit people pretty well with it. She's got an auto revive, so you can bring back down people. She can fight at close range with her hair spread, and she can grapple an enemy and also hold them in place for your teammates to do a ton of damage to them. So she's like a solid B tier, little bit harder to pilot, but still pretty good. All Might, he goes straight into, I would say, D tier. All Might is a tough character to play properly because his skills are so janky. His character skill gives him a big super jump, but the super jump is hard to control because it makes him very floaty. His Superman punch, where he charges out to an enemy and throws a United States smash punch down on the ground, if you tag someone, he throws the smash, it doesn't track properly. So you tag him with, you know, the tracking, and then you smash, it usually doesn't hit. Pretty hard to hit. He's got a tornado skill, a spin to win, which makes him invulnerable, but it's very hard for you to be able to be on top of someone and spin on them. Last but not least, his range skill is just whatever. His alpha ability is okay. Overall, really hard kit to pilot properly. Cemento's easy D tier. He is a great character with a high skill ceiling, but throwing rocks and creating terrain will end up trolling your teammates more than helping them if you don't know what you're doing. Cemento's easy D tier, hard to play. Mount Lady, easy S tier. She is a super simple character to play. You can grow big, throw out tons of damage. She's got a skill where she can kick and use that as a traversing skill. She can do a ground pound, which does lots of damage in a circle, and if she's really big, she does big AoE damage. Overall, really fun, really strong character to play if you want to play that playstyle. Good old Shiragaki, or not Shiragaki, Tomura, we'll call him that. He's an A tier type of character, but we're putting him into B tier. The reason why I'm putting him into B tier is because his range sucks. He doesn't have any true range autos. His autos require him to hit the ground, and then it creates a trail of fire on the ground. His whole gimmick is he wants to get in people's faces, grab them, drop down big AoE fire fields of damage, and call it a day. He's the definition of wait for opportunity and pump out your damage, and that's it. He very much thrives in, you know, tight corridor spaces, but in open area long range fights, he's a little bit hard to pilot. Kind of a grappler if he was a grappler, but a little bit hard to pilot. Now, Dabi, we're putting him into C tier. Dabi is C tier for the reason that, number one, he does have, you know, a decent kit. He can throw autos, but they do like half the damage, and those autos do track. It's a homing auto attack. Well, auto attack, but it's alpha ability. And he also has a decent skill where he can put down mines, he can throw down traps, and if people walk through it, they take damage, which is, you know, a little bit of a tactician if you want to play, you know, Minesweeper. Last but not least, his E is able to create a fire zone around him where it negates projectiles. It negates projectiles, but what I realized, it does not negate lasers, like AP Shot or Todoroki's Alpha Strike, or Alpha Ability. Those are two that doesn't really seem to do it, and also, obviously, melee attacks go right through the fire. A little bit hard to pilot, but still decent kit. Toga, she is D tier. Not D tier, C tier. She is a decent character to play in the sense that she does have good abilities. Her alpha ability throws, you know, knives left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, and they do chip damage, a solid amount of chip damage, which does not cause hard knockdown. So you can add to your team's damage by hitting them with your ability because it doesn't hard knock down people. However, she's a little bit hard to control with her slash attack because she just runs wildly in front of people slashing. It's hard to control. Not only that though, her blood sucking ability, where she can transform into any other heroes or, you know, units she sucks her blood from, it's hard for you to pilot because, number one, that skill has such a big delay for its recovery, and number two, it takes a while for you to be able to get into the form, which makes you vulnerable. She's, you know, obviously a high skill cap character, but hard for beginners to play. Mr. Compress, easy D tier. He's just way too gimmicky. He doesn't do a lot of damage. His get out of jail card for free skill, where he throws himself away, takes a little bit while to channel, where he's vulnerable. Not only that though, the ability to be able to take your ally into your body and run with them is kind of useless unless you're looking to run away or looking to travel together. So the only time he's kind of useful is in a 3-man stack, but even then he doesn't have a lot of damage, doesn't have a lot of utility, just overall very weak. Last but not least, we have Shoto. He's an A tier. Shoto is basically a weaker version of Bakugo. He's just got less range in the sense that he doesn't have strong mobility. But what he doesn't have in strong mobility, he has really good upfront burst. This guy can burst you down basically from 100 to 0 as quickly as Bakugo. It's just that his range is a little bit more melee centric if you want to do your full burst damage, whereas Bakugo can shoot people from afar and just call it a day. Overall, these are very, very strong characters. You can't go wrong with any of these characters. There are a few that I would highly just avoid in general, like All Might and freaking Mr. Compress, but all these other characters definitely have their own playstyle and can thrive really well. I just think that these are the characters that are best suited for beginners, especially if they want to play a specific playstyle. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, concerns, and I will see you guys until next time. John Panio, signing out.